Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. My name is Ayanat, and today I'd like to share with you a powerful story of courage, sacrifice, and resilience during World War II. This is a story of my maternal cousin great-grandmother, Malvina Platonovna, born in 1926 in the village of Serchema, Arhangelsk Oblast, in the former USSR. Malvina is not just a war veteran, she's a hero of World War II. At just 17 years old, she enlisted in Soviet military, driven not by ambition or glory, by a deep sense of courage to her country and family. Part 1. Connection to World War II and motivation. Malvina's journey into the war began after the tragic death of her father, a skilled pilot who was killed just days before the war started. With her mother and younger sister to protect, she made the brave choice to serve. Though she had dreams of studying at university, she put them aside to defend her homeland. She was trained as a radio operator, mastering Morse code and later working as a translator, fluent in both Russian and German. Although she wasn't on the front lines, her role was absolutely critical, transmitting classified messages to Air Force units in the Arhangelsk region. Part 2. War effort and emotional impact. Her older sister Lilia, who served as a pilot, inspired Malvina to join. Together, they were part of a generation of young Soviet women who stepped into the routes once considered impossible for them. Although Malvina survived the war, it came with deep emotional scars. She recalled her most traumatic memories from the time she substituted as a nurse during her training. She cared for soldiers, many still teenagers, who had lost limbs or were suffering from psychological traumas. At night, she said, the screams of pain and fear were endless. But there were also moments of hope and joy. When her unit received the message that war was finally over, she said she felt disbelieved. Then peace, a peace that had been absent for so many years, finally appeared. Part 3. Home front and youth role. At home, life was just as difficult. Rationing was severe. Schools were turned into military camps, and all young people were expected to contribute to the war effort. Malvina and her peers worked in agriculture, collected scrap metal, and were trained in first aid and defense. The war wasn't just at the front, it was proven into everyday life. Part 4. Views on the enemy and atomic bomb. What stood out to me the most was Malvina's incredible empathy. Even during war, despite everything, she never developed hatred towards the German people. Before the war, she had planned to study German at university. After the war, she resumed her studies and even visited Germany. She always believed in descending people through language and culture, not through fear. Her view on the atomic bomb was clear. She described it as the mushroom of death. Through it and to end the war, she believed and began a new era of fear and anxiety. To her, such power should never be used again. Conclusion. Legacy and reflection. Malvina Platonovna served until 1953 and was awarded the medal for the victory over Germany and recognition of her bravery and dedication. But her greatest legacy isn't just the medal, it's her story. It's her resilience. It's the humanity she held onto the darkest of times. Her story reminds us that war isn't only about soldiers and battles. It's about the people behind the uniforms. It's about the woman like Malvina who gave everything and yet remained kind, compassionate, and hopeful. Thank you for listening, and may we have never forget the sacrifices made by those who came before us.